I think we're going to be there. I think we're going to be there. Give me just a second. I'll tell you. Hot off the presses, right? Have them right here. There we go. All right. Now we got that going. Let's see, what else do I need? What else do I need? Let me go find this link here. Where is the link that I need? Oh, there it is. I'm going to copy it. Again, I'm going to come way over here with all of my other information. I'm going to just use this tab. There we go. All right, I think we're going to be ready to start here in a minute, maybe. I hope so. Oh, I know what I need to test. I know what I forgot to do. I got to go get rid of the live chat on YouTube. That's what I have to do, and I have to do that quickly. So let's do a quick search. Theology Central. All right, there's our... I need to test. I know what I forgot to do. I got to go get rid of the live chat on YouTube. That's what I have to do, and I have to do that quickly. That's gone. So let's do a quick search. I've gotten that taken care of. All right, now we're getting... That's the only thing. We do have to... when we start going live here, we do have to do a couple of extra things now, but that's all right. It makes it all worth it, but that's okay. We'll get started here in just a minute, and hopefully everything will work. Again, I'm trying. I've got to do better when we do this is like the pre-show feed. You know, I've got to do better because now the pre-show feed is being uploaded, right? So immediately when I'm done, it's going to be uploaded to not only to YouTube, it's going to be uploaded immediately to Sermon Audio. So typically with, before whatever I said in the pre-show, it did not matter. I could be sitting here going, blah, 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 blah. It didn't matter because that was... Unless you were tuning in for the pre-show, which is usually only a few people, it's never going to be heard from again. But now the pre-show is being sent to 2 different platforms. I could remove it from Sermon Audio. I could. But I'm conflicted because by not removing it, then that ensures to anyone, hey, the second that broadcast ends, it's going to be immediately available on Sermon Audio. I like it being there so quickly. Be just another way to get the content there. So, and maybe sometimes the pre-show discussion, if I can make it worth, sometimes we do talk about, things going on. We're trying that. All the discussion about YouTube and everything we've been trying, it's all been done either in test or in pre-show discussion. So, but all right, we'll get started here in just a second. I think everything is going halfway decent here. Right. I really do hope this goes well. Right. Let's see. I think I got everything set up. And we will begin here in just a minute. All right. I think we're good to go here. All right, I'm going to close that out completely just to make sure everything is working correctly. All right, we should begin here in just a second. All right, we should begin here in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. We should begin here in just a second. All right. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. All right. I think we're ready to go. I hope this works. I really do. I think I've got everything set up. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, June the 7th, 2025. It is currently 11:29 a.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio, located right here in Abilene, Texas. Now, it's a summer Saturday morning, right? A summer Saturday morning. Maybe for you, it's already a summer Saturday afternoon. Maybe you're just laying around, relaxing. Maybe you're by the pool. Maybe you're having a summer afternoon, summer morning drive. It's a Saturday. It's relaxing. It's the weekend. It's summertime. And you open up your app to your favorite music streaming service. You open up the app to your favorite music streaming service, and you hit play, and you hear these words. I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye. And I don't know what it all means, but since I survived, I realized. Now, those are the opening words to the song we're going to be discussing today and our ongoing series as we continue to look at the Song of the Summer for 2025, the Song of the Summer for the summer 2025, as we try to listen to what the world is saying. We kind of enter into the flow, the stream, the rhythm of the world and what they are saying. And well, we're looking at the charts and looking at what will be the song of the summer. Well, we're looking at all the songs of the summer, things that have been number one. We're looking at the charts and we're trying to figure it out. Because on one hand, this is parallel to our other series where we're looking at the lectionary for the summer of 2025. And we started that Memorial Day weekend going all the way through Labor Day. And the Song of the Summer series, we're going from Memorial Day weekend all the way through Labor Day. And the goal is to do those parallel. On one hand, we're entering into the rhythm and the flow of the early church by looking at the liturgical calendar and the lectionary. And at the exact same time, we're listening to the Song of the Summer and listening to what is being sung, what is being heard on music streaming services, radio, however you get your music. And well, that's what we have been doing. And we have some chart news. Some music chart news hot off the press, okay? So, number one. Now, for forever, it was Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA. That was number one forever. It has dropped down. And what is number one right now? Well, Morgan Wallen, I think, had become number one. Yeah, Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae, they were number one last week, but they have been replaced. And what is number one this week? Hot off the press. Ordinary by Alex Warren. We've already covered that song in great detail. I thought it was going to move down. I didn't think it would be moving up the charts. I thought it would be moving down. I thought it would be replaced because we've had, a lot of music released. And I thought, so I think the question for next week, does Sabrina Carpenter and her new song, does it debut at number one next week? What do you think? Do you think Sabrina Carpenter can debut at number one next week? I think the name of the new song, is Man-Child. I think there's a high probability. Morgan Wallen with Tate McRae, What I Want, it debuted at number one. It only stayed number one for a week and it dropped, but it did debut at number one. And there's only been 80 something songs, 88 songs. I don't have the exact number in front of me that debuted at number one. So to debut at number one is a big deal. I think Sabrina Carpenter has a chance, don't you? I think so. And so if it shows up on the chart, then maybe I should be talking about Sabrina Carpenter because it's going to have a big impact. I haven't looked at streaming numbers for today, but I bet you it's a lot. Okay. So, but that's going on. So we've looked at, I'll give you the chart. Ordinary by Alex Warren is number one. Number two is What I Want by Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae. Number 3 is Just in Case by Morgan Wallen. And number 4, I'm the Problem, Morgan Wallen. Now, I told you his album was going to be all over the charts, so that's proven to be true. Number 5 is Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Number 6, a bar song, Shabuzi. But man, that song was all over the place last summer, right? So, do I cover that? I mean, Shabuzi and a bar song. I mean, I feel like it's been around 3 years. So number 8 is Lose Control by Teddy Swims. We've already covered one of his songs. So Beautiful Things by Benson Boone is number 10. That would probably be one that we could look at. But I'm going to go with number 7. And I read the lyrics to you just a few minutes ago. Let me do the opening line again. I just woke up from a dream when you and I had to say goodbye, and I don't know what it all means, but since I survived, I realized. Because number 7 on the chart is Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. So, a Saturday, summer. A summer Saturday morning or a summer Saturday afternoon, you've hit play on your favorite playlist. You heard those words, and you probably, I mean, if you pay attention to music, Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, because it's been everywhere for a very long time. Okay, and at one point it was number 1. It's been on the chart for 41 weeks. It's been on the chart for 41 weeks. So in some ways I'm like, well, I could probably do something new, but I'm trying to go with what's on the chart at this time. So if you were to turn on a top 40 station, let's say if you have Sirius XM and you turn on Hits 1, you're going to hear Die with a Smile. If you open up a playlist on Apple Music or Spotify that's dealing with pop music or top 40, the hits right now, you're going to see Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. It's been everywhere. In some ways you would think it would already have moved on, but it continues to remain. I mean, 41 weeks on the chart, that means it's had a long run. And so what does that tell you? It's resonating with people in some way, shape, or form. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to step into this, and we're going to see what we can learn about it, and we're going to do hopefully a lot of discussing about it. Now, typically, I know that was a little redundant. We're going to discuss it. We're going to do a lot. We're going to do a lot of looking into this and trying to understand. I know that was a little redundant because I was looking at my notes going, well, exactly how I want to start it. Because originally I wanted to do this episode late at night, right? So I was going to, set up the whole scenario being late at night. So I had to kind of modify it since it's, 11:37 in the morning. But it is a summer Saturday morning. It is the weekend. So wherever you may be, imagine hearing the song, hearing the lyrics. Maybe this line would stand out to you. If the world was ending, I want to be next to you. Maybe, is that the line that's most powerful to you? You see, in this song, Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, I think we can say they deliver. It's obviously a duet. And I think it blends romance. It blends mortality. I think that's a key element here. Romance, mortality, and meaning into one slow burning refrain. But I don't think this is just about love. I think that's an oversimplification. I think it's about presence at the end of everything. The longing not just to be remembered. Some people have a longing, they want to be remembered, but I don't think this is about being remembered, but I think this is about being with someone as the curtain falls, as the end has come, as the song ends, as the final credits roll, when it's all said and done. So let's try to unpack. Maybe we should call Die with a Smile the final love song for the end of the world. Maybe, do you think, is that too hyperbolic? Do you think I'm exaggerating it too much? This is the final love song for the end of the world. When it all is said and done, this is the love song for the end. Do you think that's too much? I don't know. I think it definitely has a powerful message. So let's try to do a little bit of lyrical analysis. And let's try to lean into this. Now, remember, this is very important. Whenever we take these songs, I try to explain this. I can sit there and read line by line by line by line by line by line, but at some cases, I think that becomes maybe a little too much because you just want to get the main idea. You want to make sure we got a good interpretation of the message. So I always debate how much of it do I read? How much of it do I just kind of summarize? I always usually read all the lyrics at the end. Sometimes I will begin by doing it, but at some point and then I may make additional comments, but we'll just kind of go through how I've broken it down initially, and then we'll add to this, all right? So the opening verses I've now read twice to you. I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye. Now, I think this lays the emotional anchor, right? I think it's set right here early in the very first lines, right? Because you have a dream of loss, and you have kind of this maybe how fragile love is. Is it how fragile love is? Maybe it's how fragile life is. I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye. Is it saying goodbye because someone's going to die? Well, it's the name of the song is what? Die with a smile, right? So is the saying goodbye here is because someone going to die. I think as you get later into the song, that becomes pretty obvious, right? So because I don't know if you want to say this is how fragile love is. I think this is more about how fragile life is, right? I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye. And that's the reality. Everyone you know, you're going to have to say goodbye to. Everyone, every single person, every single one, you're going to have to say goodbye to. They are going to die. And you don't know when, and here's the thing, you may not even get a chance to say goodbye. So in some ways, you better say your goodbyes before, because you don't know. You can think of whoever the person is, they could be gone just like that. You say, well, I'll say goodbye. When they're dying, I'll say goodbye. You may not get the opportunity. They could be gone tomorrow. They could be gone an hour from now. They could be gone 20 minutes from now. But in this case, he just woke up from a dream. So in that case, he's going to be given time, right? Because the opening verse is by Bruno. It was weird. Artificial intelligence tried to tell me the opening verse was Lady Gaga, and I'm like, you're out of your ever-living mind, okay? It's Bruno, okay? But if you listen, I think you'll know that it's Bruno. But he wakes up from a dream where they had to say goodbye. And so this sets the stage, right? He woke up from this dream, and now, well, what is he going to do? Now, he immediately acknowledges, I don't know what it all means. Like, I'm not here to try to interpret all of the dream. I'm not here to try to figure out all the dream. But since I survived, okay, I woke up, I was alive, you were alive, we are still here. Okay, if I can speak correctly, we are still here. Then I realized, what did he realize? So this is all about almost like he's been given an epiphany, a revelation that he got to watch this where they're saying goodbye, but then he wakes up and realizes nobody has had to say goodbye yet. So he realizes something. See, the speaker here, Bruno, he wakes not just with grief. He's not waking with grief, but he's waking with clarity. Maybe what he begins to realize is it's not what lasts forever, because does anything actually last forever? But who you want beside you when it all ends. When it all ends, who do you want by you when it's all coming to an end? Who do you want by you? And why do you want them by you? Because you're going to have something to say? Well, you may not get the chance to say it. If we take the whole verse, I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye, and I don't know what it all means, but since I survived, I realize. See, he's not opening the song with any kind of bravado, but he's opening the song being very vulnerable. A dream of separation, a dream of death becomes a mirror to reality. The moment he survives this imagined loss, he gets clarity. Presence is what matters. Time is fragile, so love must be lived right now. Because love can't be lived tomorrow because there may not be a tomorrow. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. Now, see, that to me frames that the goodbye here, it's not the fragility or how fragile love is, it's how fragile life is. And he realizes, hey, wherever you go, that's where I'm going to follow because nobody's promised tomorrow. Look, wherever you go, I'm going to follow because you may not be there tomorrow to follow or to even say goodbye to. So I think the heartbeat of this track, of this song, is the awareness of mortality. I don't think he's carrying, I don't think his voice, I know you can say, it's not desperation. I think his voice is showing an urgency. It's quiet, powerful urgency. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. This is a song about the reality of death. And look, who can't benefit from being reminded of that? Because come on, don't we all go to sleep? I mean, come on, just think about how you speak every day. You speak every day as if tomorrow, next week, next month, next year is a guarantee. You literally speak that way all day, every day. You speak about tomorrow as if it's a certainty. You speak about next year as if it's a certainty. But in this particular song, he just woke up from a dream and he now has been hit in the face with the idea there is no guarantee for tomorrow. That reality is entering into his presence because typically our present, we forget this reality. That's why when death happens, we're always shocked by it. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. See, this is not some may say this is hyper romanticism. I don't know if it is. I think it's mortality infused realism. Is that a good term? It's mortality infused realism. There are no guarantees. So because there's no guarantees, then every single moment is sacred, even though we treat it in a very profane way. We don't see the sacredness in the moment. In fact, that's why we get bothered and frustrated and irritated because we don't see hey, this moment is sacred. No. We're worried about this. We're fighting about this, arguing about this because we have the idea that, well, tomorrow's going to be here. And I want if you just think of all the things that would not matter if you knew that you only had 3 hours left. So I'm love you every night. I'm going to clean up the lyrics a little bit because the way it's sung, but trying to read it that way, it doesn't come across. So I'm going to love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. So I'm going to love you every night like it's the last night because we may not get another night. I think the repetition is deliberate. I mean, obviously it's deliberate. It's in a song. Now, sometimes you could say, well, it may not be deliberate. It just may be for rhyming purposes and for flow. And there's sometimes that does happen in a song. I don't think this is about an emotional high. I think it's about an intentional presence. Maybe it's about intentional presence in the shadow of impermanence. Is that a good way of putting it? I'm going to be present, but I have this shadow of impermanence around. We live in the shadow of impermanence because nothing lasts. Everything comes to an end. Then we have, if the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd want to hold you just for a while and die with a smile. So if the world is ending, he's decided, I want to be with you. All right, well, and this is the chorus. They both are singing. So together, we could get into try to breaking down which verse is Bruno, which verse is Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga's verse, the second verse, is the one that is confounding and confuses me a little bit. But I'm going to just go with the idea. They both seem to agree that if the world is ending, if the world's coming to an end, where I want to be is right next to you. That's where I want to be. That's what I want to be. And if the party is over, another kind of a poetic way of saying the world is coming to an end, and our time on earth was through, I'd want to hold you just for a while and die with a smile. Hey, if it's all coming to an end, just want to be in your arms, you in my arms, and die with a smile, because that's it. That's all that matters. No, I know, I'm already hearing some Christians, no, what you should want to do is go preach the gospel. I understand you're going to get all, Pharisaical, you're going to get all extra spiritual, you're going to get all pious, and you say that while you have a husband, wife, and it's funny how you can talk like, oh, I'm not about any of this stuff. I'm only about the gospel. But if you are married, you had to feel something when you got married, didn't you? Yeah, you had to, right? And depending on your relationship, you still are experiencing intimacy and so you still have something there. So you have to understand this at least to some level. As far as I know, Christians are still humans. Some will say that the chorus may be the emotional and theological center of the song. If the world was ending, I want to be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd want to hold you just for a while and die with a smile. See, the song is not escaping death. It's reframing it. It's not saying we're going to escape death. I think it's reframing the whole idea. It's not even seeking immortality. It's not I'm going to see you in the next life. I'm going to hold you in the, no. I think it's seeking proximity. The smile isn't some kind of smile of triumph or victory. It's peace in the arms of love at the end. Hey, it's all coming to an end. We cannot deny that. So if it's got to come to an end, then how do I want it to end with this person? This is not despair. This is not hopelessness. This is not nihilism. I think it's kind of what would be a good term? Like a tender, how about a beautiful apocalypse? Do you like that? A tender apocalypse? But then we come to verse 2, and this is where I had major arguments with artificial intelligence over verse 2. We did not get along very good on verse 2, all right? So verse 2. Some may say this is a key moment in the song. I don't know if it's a key moment. I don't know. But here we go. Now, Lady Gaga comes in here, right? This is Lady Gaga's verse, all right? Bruno was the first. Lady Gaga's the second. And I think that's clear. I went back to listen because AI was reversing the order, and I don't know why it was reversing the order. That's why you always got to verify and check things, okay? But it's Lady Gaga's the second verse. And she sings, lost in the words that we scream. I don't even want to do this anymore. Because you already know what you mean to me, and our love's the only war worth fighting for. Now, when I read that, I was kind of like, wait, what is wrong? What is up? What is she bothered by? What does she seem to be? I don't want to even do this anymore. Wait, hey, Bruno was all romantic and beautiful and powerful and dreamy. And then she's coming, I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm like, Lady Gaga, what is the problem? Like, what has you so, the words that we scream, like he didn't give any indication of anything other than I just want to die in your arms. Like and she's like, I don't even want to do this anymore. And I'm like, what is going on? So I'm going to offer maybe a bunch of different thoughts here. You may end up with maybe two clear different interpretations. I don't know if I have this completely mapped out, but I've struggled with this verse. When Lady Gaga sings, I don't even want to do this anymore, according to at least some, and AI went back and forth on this as well, the most contextually sound interpretation is that this refers to the fighting, the arguing, or the endless attempts to explain or justify love in words, the words that we scream. But I struggle with this idea that this refers to fighting, arguing, the endless attempts to explain or justify love in words. She's not saying she wants to give up on the relationship. She's saying she's tired of the conflict, tired of the communication breakdown, tired of trying to prove something that should be understood by now. But I'm like, well, what? He seemed to get it. In verse 1, he seemed to be perfectly understanding it. Like, what is your issue here? Like, what's your problem? It would be one thing if in verse 1, he's like, I just don't know if you would want to die with me. I just don't know. Like if he was showing some doubt, then she could be like, look, I'm tired of it. I've tried to explain it to you. The next line, some would say, confirms this, because you already know what you mean to me. This seems to be she's expressing a longing to move past the noise, the pain, the arguments, the emotional friction, and settle into the reality of the love that's already shared. Our love's the only war worth fighting for. So ironically, while she says she doesn't want to do this anymore, she affirms that the love itself is still worth it, just not the chaos that surrounds it. But hey, this love is amazing, but there's all this horrible chaos. It doesn't sound like it's so amazing. If it's all filled with screaming and torture and pain and suffering, then I don't know if that's the person I want. I want to die in your arms, even though we spend most of the time yelling, screaming, fighting, and miserable. Like I think maybe I'd like, you don't seem very, maybe you just wait outside in the waiting area and I'll die in peace. I don't know. I struggle with verse 2. It seems such a disconnect. So I think we got to sense a shift in tone between Bruno's verse and Lady Gaga's. We have to. I think we have to perceive a shift in tone. I mean, if we don't see the shift in tone, I think we're missing something. There is clearly a shift in tone. At least I feel like it. So I had to go to AI. I'm like, okay, something's going on here, because I wanted AI to at least give me some kind of idea. Now, me and AI did not agree on all of this. We went back and forth. But AI said, is this a disjointed emotional arc, or is it revealing a contrast? Am I seeing because I feel like I'm seeing a disjointed emotional arc. There's this, hey, here's Bruno, and then here's Lady Gaga. And I'm like, they are both expressing emotion. There may be an emotional arc, but it seems disjointed. Or is verse 1 and verse 2 providing a contrast? Bruno sets a tone of dreamy reflection and renewed devotion. I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye, and I don't know what it all means, but since I survived, I realized. See, there's no mention of conflict. It's contemplative. It's calm. It's full of awe at the fragility of life. He's resolved to love fully. He's resolved to love tenderly, night after night, like it's the last night. That's what Bruno seems to be doing. But Lady Gaga enters in with lost, lost, in the words that we scream. I don't even want to do this anymore. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Again, I just want to kind of, Lady Gaga, what? Come here. I think this relationship is broken. I think maybe you need to find a way out or something. It sounds like it's going so good. It's jarring to me because it seems like we're being dropped suddenly into the middle of some kind of, I don't know, do we call it emotional exhaustion? Some kind of relational tension? I mean, I want to call Bruno. Hey, Bruno, Lady Gaga, she's not so happy with you. And he'd be like, what are you talking about? I want to love her like it's the last night. I want to die in her arms. Well, yeah, but she seems to be not so, it doesn't seem to be so positive with her. I think he would be heartbroken. He's like, I'd catch a grenade with you. Okay, never mind. I'm going to start quoting Bruno Mars lyrics, okay? All right? I won't do that. Or I could quote, Miley, kind of borrowed from, never mind. I won't get into that either, because some people may not, like Flowers by Miley Cyrus. I don't know who that could be or why someone would not like it, but maybe they don't. But so we won't go there. We could contrast that as well. So how do we understand what's going on here? Maybe then seeing this as either a flaw in songwriting or a flaw in the relationship, maybe the contrast is intentional. And I'm just speculating. Maybe, is it showing that two people can experience the same relationship very differently? Like his perception is this and her perception is this. Or is it trying to demonstrate that love contains both peace and pain? Is it possible? I don't, is it possible? That's kind of, I made a joke there about Flowers by Miley Cyrus, but I always thought that was kind of interesting how she took this song she's taking kind of a Bruno idea and kind of flipping it. I always thought it was kind of interesting the way she did that. But is Bruno and Lady Gaga kind of, here's this love, but we're going to flip it in the same song that it contains both concepts here? Bruno is singing from the perspective of someone who has had a dream of loss and now cherishes what he has. Maybe Gaga is singing from the reality of someone living through the emotional intensity. Lady Gaga resides at, Avenue Realism. She's living in reality, but Bruno just woke up from a dream. See, he just woke up from a dream and all he can think about, he doesn't care. He doesn't see anything else other than tomorrow could be the end. So I'm going to love you like it's the last. Like he has been impacted by the dream. She didn't have the dream. So he wakes up with this clarity. No, everything else no longer matters. He doesn't even see anything. He doesn't see problems. He doesn't see conflict. He doesn't see anything because he just got smacked in the face with reality, or he got smacked in the face with a reality that is not yet realized. Let me put it this way. He got smacked in the face with a reality that's not yet being lived. The reality of death, the reality that is going to come to an end. Lady Gaga resides, so he lives on Avenue, just woke up from a dream. She lives in the Avenue, I haven't gone to sleep because I'm living in the reality of the conflict and the pain. She is putting forth the perspective of someone living through the emotional intensity, where love is loud, overwhelming, and sometimes exhausting. Her line, because you already know what you mean to me, it isn't cold. She's saying, why do we keep fighting when we both already know what this is? So could the emotional arc between the two verses be read like this? Verse 1, the fear of losing love. Hey, I don't want to lose this. The fear, or maybe not the fear, maybe the reality of losing love, because whoever you love is going to die. And maybe verse 2 is the fight to keep it. But the chorus gives us the shared desire to face the end of the world together, despite it all. Is that how we understand this? That it's kind of two different perspectives of the same thing, but the shared reality is they know she's living through trying to fight for it. He's living now with the idea that I don't ever want to lose it and I'm going to hold on to it. And he's not thinking about the problems because he sees the ultimate end, which is saying goodbye. And he just woke up from that dream. But what if there's an alternative reading? And I put forth an alternative reading, and this is where I was like, well, AI, because we kind of went back and forth between everything we just talked about was me and artificial intelligence going back and forth about this, right? We kind of like, right? Okay. And I was like, don't know. So we kind of went back and forth, and I kept trying to reframe it and I was trying to make it work. But finally, after we tried to make that work, and you just heard my entire explanation, I thought, well, there could be an alternative reading. And maybe an alternative reading would give that line, I don't even want to fight anymore. I don't even want to do this anymore. No, I'm sorry. She did not say I don't want to fight anymore. I don't even want to do this anymore. Maybe my alternative reading will give it an entirely different emotional weight. All right? Instead of interpreting the conflict as external fighting with her partner, is it possible the lyric could reflect an internal conflict in Lady Gaga's character, where she is resisting the depth of how inevitable this love is? The inevitability of love itself. Maybe she's been trying to fight it. I don't even want to do this anymore. Maybe she's been trying to fight the reality it is, and she's going to finally just give in to it. Lost in the words we scream, could this suggest being emotionally overwhelmed? It's not necessarily conflict with the other person. It could be her own inner dialogue or even imagined conversations. I don't even want to do this anymore. Does this possibly refer to resisting or denying or overanalyzing the relationship? Then the line becomes a moment of surrender. She's exhausted, not by the relationship, but by her own defense mechanisms. Like on one hand, she knows it. She knows she wants that. She knows the other person knows this love, but there's been something, she's just having an internal conflict with it. She's overwhelmed with it. Maybe she's nervous of it. Maybe she's holding back in some way. Because you already know what you mean to me. Maybe this line would now feel like an admission. You've known it all along. I'm just now catching up. Maybe that's it. Hey, you've known it. I'm just finally admitting it. And I don't want to fight. I don't want to do this anymore. I just got to surrender to it. Our love's the only war worth fighting for. And I think possibly this seals it. It's not a resignation to ongoing conflict. It's the realization that this kind of love, though scary, though it's absolutely consuming, it's worth the cost. I don't want to fight this war inside of me. I'm just going to surrender to it. Now, if we go with my alternative interpretation, this gives Gaga's verse emotional continuity with Bruno's verse. It turns what first felt like emotional dissonance into a story of convergence. Both characters arriving at the same place from different paths. It enriches the chorus. If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. Now we hear two people who've come through fear, resistance, and risk and still choose presence. For him, the dream woke him up. For her, it's going through the internal conflict where she finally resigns to it. So they may be coming from different paths, but and then they come together in the chorus. See, we maybe lost in the words that we scream. I don't even want to do this anymore because you already know what you mean to me. This is kind of an emotional unraveling. The fight is over. The need to define, to explain it is gone. The unspoken love is now understood. If the world was ending, I would want to be next to you. I'd want to hold you just for a while and die with a smile right next to you. It's not even about resolution. It's just an acceptance. It doesn't show hopelessness. It shows finality. And what is the choice? We're going to greet the end together. That's how we're going to greet the end. He gets there through the dream. She gets there through surrendering. Now, I'm not saying my alternative view is right. By no means am I saying it. I think both, and good songwriting leaves a little bit of ambiguity. Why? Because it allows the listener to listen maybe on a Friday night at 2 a.m. and hear it differently because of something they are experiencing or going through, and they can relate to the lyric because there's enough ambiguity. They can read themselves into one of the characters, but then they may hear it again on a Tuesday afternoon at 4 and hear it differently because of what they're going through. A little ambiguity in songwriting is good because it allows the listener to insert themselves depending on what they're going through. And a little bit of ambiguity allows different situations to be fit into the song. Now, Lady Gaga did say that she noted it's an exploration of love amidst chaos. She stated there's peace at the end, even if it's all crumbling. I want chaos to come to an end. We all do. It's humbling, but right now I want to be with a fan going through a hard time and say that I see them. So Lady Gaga's like, hey, I want to be able to look to the fans and go, look, I know it's hard, and I want you to know that you are seen, that you are heard, which is a nice thing for her to say to her fans who may be going through a difficult time and feel like they're not heard or seen, or that they don't even exist in the minds of other people. So, what are some other things we can say in regards to, that was probably the longest lyrical analysis we've done so far in any song, but it's just verse 2 throws me for such a kind of a loop. I don't know if, I hope that we at least gave you something to think about. So what are some possible theological and existential reflections we could have here? Facing death with transcendence, maybe. Unlike many songs, Die with a Smile doesn't pretend life goes on forever. There's no promise of heaven in this song. There's definitely no hint of resurrection. Just two people and the coming end. But doesn't that kind of make it matter? Doesn't that kind of really what makes the song matter? There's no tomorrow to hide in. So kind of love becomes the liturgy. Love becomes the ritual. It's a ritual of presence in the now. It's not about hoping for something, one day I'll see you again in somewhere in eternity. No. It's like all we got is right now. That may be theoretical, but all we have is right at this very moment. This is what we have. It's now. I know many Christian songs will put the focus on eternity, and everybody talks about how wonderful eternity is. But if eternity was so, I get in conflict with Christians about it, right? We have no fear of death because the worst thing that could happen to me is I die and be sent to heaven. And yet you own 5 guns. Sounds like you want to pretty much hold on to your life. Oh, I've got to defend myself. Well, it sounds like you don't want to die. Right? Right? And if heaven is all you really need, well, then it's like, well, all I need is Jesus. We say all these great spiritual things, but when you look at how Christians live their lives, they live their lives just like everyone else. Nobody wants to die. We want to live, and we long for love and intimacy and physical pleasure, and we long for all the things that the world has. Even though we say Jesus is all we need and heaven is all I need, we can talk such a big game on a Sunday morning, but on a Friday night, yeah, we're just like everyone else. And this song is like, it's not focusing on, it's focusing on the present. I think we can say that this is a song there's no divine assurance here. There's no resurrection, just the comfort of not dying alone. All they really want is, I want to die with you. I just don't want to die alone. If I die and I can die with a smile, it's going to be because of you. The theology here is horizontal. It's not vertical. The question isn't, where will I go, but who will be with me when I go? This is not about where am I going to go when I die? No, this is about who's going to be with me when I go. This is not about some supposed Christian hope. This is about existential honesty. So why do you think the song resonates? Why do you think the song's been on the charts for 41 weeks? It's a number I'll forget. I could look it up. 40-something weeks. Why do you think it's been on the chart for that long? Because we're living in a culture. We're living in a cultural moment that's filled with, anxiety, social fracture, existential dread, division, chaos, war, death, disease. Maybe people have become tired of spiritual abstraction. Maybe people long for something real, something tangible, like a person's breath on your neck at the end of the world. Maybe people are tired they want something tangible, real, physical, touch. So maybe within the context of our current world, and I think life, maybe Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars offer the most intimate comfort people can still believe in. Not heaven, not healing. Just you, here, now. Maybe it's the most fragile form of salvation, but maybe it's the one many people still dare to trust. Now, I know what the church's response will be. They should just want Jesus instead. They should care about is Jesus, because in Jesus, grave, where is thy victory? Death, where is thy sting? It's all been defeated by Christ. All they should care about is Christ. And I understand that from a theological standpoint. But again, we say that. We talk such a big game, but look at everything we do. Churches literally have armed guards. Well, because nobody wants to die, right? We're going to hold on to this life. Those churches are filled with married people because they have a need for relationship and intimacy. They do all kinds of things in those churches to entertain, feed, please people. The church loves to talk about how great and how sufficient God is and how sufficient heaven is, but we live our lives as if that is the most insufficient concepts on the world and life when it comes to everything else. Now, if you get all these other needs met, if you have relationship, you have intimacy, you have physical pleasure, you have your needs being met, your desires being met, then it's easy to say, Jesus is all I want and Jesus is all I need. And you can sing the praise songs and lift your hand. Oh, it's Jesus. It's all that matters. And then when the songs are over, you grab your spouse's hand and go home and go to bed together. As you get in your nice car and have a nice meal on the way home. Then go out on a date on Friday. Take all of that away. Strip it all. Go live somewhere completely by yourself with none of those needs being met. Be alone and see. Now, the church should, obviously, we don't pretend that death isn't coming, because it is. Now, Christianity does offer that there's something beyond death, right? That Christ did defeat death. He defeated the grave, and that we have eternal life. It does promise that. And we can say that that's all that really matters. That, hey, that no matter what happens in this life, I have eternity. So no matter how bad things get, I should be happy and content, because this is as bad as it's ever going to be for me, and I'm going to live in eternal glory with no more pain, no more suffering, and no more death. That sounds so good, but again, I can preach that, and I could emphasize that, and everybody will say, amen, 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 but does it really impact the way we live our lives? Because we sure want everything this world has to offer. We still like the pleasure and the desire. So I'm sometimes conflicted with how the Christian message really enters in here. I do believe that obviously in Christ, we don't die without hope. We die with hope. We do believe Christ defeated death, defeated the grave. We do believe all of that. I just think it's so theoretical that it doesn't have much impact on the way we live our everyday life in any serious way. Now, I'm not saying that's true of every person and every Christian in every church. I'm just saying that I think there is some things to be conflicted about. So, if you're holding the one you love at the end of the world, and there was no promise of anything after, what would you say? If you're holding the one you love at the end of the world, and there was no promise of anything after, what would you say? Now, the song answers it. I want to be next to you. I just want to be right here. In some ways, it's tender, it's beautiful, it's kind of beautifully tragic. Now, you could argue the song offers dying with a smile. Does Christianity offer that we can die with peace? But do we really die with peace? I've often said, and I know this is going to sound but I'm just being real. I'm trying to be honest. The thing I've said with this podcast from the beginning, I'm just a sinner with a microphone. If you expect anything other than a sinner with a microphone, then you're out of your mind. I'm a sinner, failure. Yeah, I'm just a sinner trying to figure this all out. When I get ready to die, all of my theological training, all of the years of reading and studying the Bible, I'm supposed to know I'm going to cease to breathe here and I'm going to wake up there in eternity. No more pain, no more suffering, no more death. I know that theoretically. But in a roundabout way, that's when it's really going to be, I'm going to find out. right? I mean, I hope I'm gonna wake up and find out, hey, whew, I got that all right. I hope I don't wake up and find out I got it all wrong. I mean, I won't know if I don't wake up, right? I'm not going to know that part, right? If I don't wake up, I'm not going to know it, right? Now, some people say, well, as long as it gives me that comfort and peace as I'm getting ready to die, but I don't know if I'm going to have comfort and peace. I think I'm going to be like, well, I'm about to find out. If someone's like, what are your last words going to be? I'm going to be like, well, I'm about to find out. Here we go. It's test time. I'm about to find out what's on the other side. Because right now, I can take everything I know theologically and say what the scriptures say is on the other side. But I haven't been there, so I don't know. I can believe it by faith. I can believe it, but I don't know it. What I do know is what would be existing at that very moment, at that very time. That's what I know. I don't know what I'm going to experience 3 seconds after. I know theologically, what the scriptures say. I know that. But obviously, if I really believed that's what I was going to experience, I think I would be living life differently, and I think everyone else would. So let's end with this. I try to do this with all these reviews. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye. And I don't know what it all means, but since I survived, I realize wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. So I'm going to love you every night like it's the last night, If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd want to hold you just for a while and die with a smile. If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. Lost in the words that we scream, I don't even want to do this anymore because you already know what you mean to me, and our love's the only war worth fighting for. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. So I'm going to love you every night like the last night, like it's the last night. If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd want to hold you just for a while and die with a smile. If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. There's not a third verse there. And then there's a lot of repetition fading out or ending the song. There you have it. And I think it contrasts one, it's brilliant in showing us the reality of death. That's a positive. We all need to be confronted with that because we all seem shocked when it happens. But it's going to happen, all right? So you can think of people right now, they're not going to be there possibly tomorrow. They may not be here by the end of this day. They may die tonight. They may die. They could be gone. You just have to accept that reality. They're going to be gone, right? The end is coming. The end is coming. I went to Buffalo Gap just the other day because the little grocery store in that town, Stewart's Grocery, well, never really a grocery store, it's more like an old convenience store, been there for 80 years, closed down. So I went there one last time to walk in because I spent so much of my life inside that little store. It's where it was kind of our school bus stop. It's kind of where we waited for the school bus. So I lived in that place. Every summer days going there, they had a little deli. I'd get a sandwich and an apple, something to drink, and I'd go off in the middle of nowhere like I was Tom Sawyer. And man, I love that store. Love that store. Well, I went there the other day because it was coming to an end. So I parked the car, walked from the store to my old house, my old house is abandoned now, and I just walked around the yard. I remember all the horrible things that happened in that house. There was a lot, okay? But I know, man, both of my parents long gone. I mean, long gone. My mother died, 38, 39? I mean, she's been gone. I've lived more of my life without a mom than with one, right? Father's been gone for a long time. So, yeah, because death, that's what happens. everything comes to an end. Everything dies. So I like the fact that the song slaps us in the face with reality. I'm always conflicted with contrasting songs with Christianity, and here's why. So many times I feel like Christianity sells something that's so void of reality. It's so fraudulent, right? It promises things that I think in some cases scriptures don't even actually promise. And we sell something that doesn't actually exist. And I think some people can get into Christianity and convince themselves they're actually experiencing what they're being sold. But sometimes you wake up and go, it's not. Music can sometimes be much more a slap in the face with reality. But you can say music can clearly over-romanticize what love can give you and what love is. And I think most cases people don't experience that either. It's like on one hand, it's like, man, if Christianity really gave us all that it gave us, then Christians would be like, we wouldn't be involved in all the other things the world would be. It would just be us and God and the Bible, and we wouldn't want or need anything, but we have all of those same needs and desires. So I just find sometimes there's a conflict. Now, some people try to see that conflict as, well, we've got to look at everything from a Christian perspective, and the world's perspective is flawed. But I think we live more like the world, even though we want to, even if we don't want to admit it. But there you have it. Die with a smile. I'm going to just start philosophizing. I'll stop. Everyone have a great day. Now it is summer. It is summer. It is now a Saturday summer afternoon. So grab your favorite music streaming app. I do apologize at the beginning. My intro was a little off. Did not like my intro, so I apologize for that. But 61 minutes, are you going to judge me based off the intro? You always want to get the intro right, but I was conflicted in the intro because this was supposed to be done late at night. And so I had a whole different kind of narrative and vibe I wanted to do at the beginning, so I had to kind of just redo it, and I should have thought about it a little bit more. So, all right, well, I'll die with a frown of all the episodes I messed up. All right. Is that what I'm going to be doing on my deathbed? Oh, I remember episode number 323. Oh, that was such trash. Oh, I remember episode 523. I mispronounced whatever I mispronounced. Oh, I remember episode 632. Oh, I got that intro all wrong. I hope I don't die. That would be horrible. It'd be horrible. All right. God bless.